episode dose. Okay. Um let's get to it. As you guys could tell, like, my setup has been changing ongoing. It's all stuff that I had before. Eventually this behind me will be like a Star Wars panel, like the Death Star panels. But I gotta get drills to drill in the concrete. But yeah, some of the updates is just that, man. Just trying to freaking live life, trying to figure everything out. Especially this YouTube stuff, man. Today I spent probably, I don't know, a good 4 or 5 hours trying to figure out how to film a video, how to, I don't know, freaking what else, man. It wasn't just filming a video. I did a reaction video. You guys will see it tomorrow. Probably at like around 10 a.m. or something. And I was just trying to figure it out. You guys know I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun. It's fun. Like, I noticed that my voice isn't syncing up with my lips, and I don't know how to fix it. So, yeah. And I still have to do a review on Theory Sabers. This lightsaber, these two lights right here, they're both Theory Sabers, and there's his logo right there. And there's things I like, things I don't like. But overall, best lightsabers I ever had. I have had messed around with the Saberforge one, the MK3 Count Dooku lightsaber. I really want that stuff. It's awesome. Let me get my grape juice real quick. Love grape juice. Anyways, okay. I'm not really talking about news tonight. It's more so just I want to talk about a little bit about Star Wars, Superman. Yeah. Okay. So Star Wars, I was figuring out how to like decorate the office. I found my DVDs. Like, my living room isn't super kid friendly, so like it's all exposed. So I didn't want to just like, for years I haven't put like my DVDs in a set spot. Put it in my closet, and it's still like too reachable, and I don't really have much space. But I was going through the DVDs, the Blu-ray ones, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch some Star Wars. And man, the way you know it's a good movie, like to watch. I'm not talking about objectively good, like writing wise, all that stuff, right? There's like really good movies, like objectively, that have good writing, that do bore me at times, or I have to be really in the mood to watch. Like Rango is one of them. I really gotta be in the mood, or I fall asleep every time. But it's a great movie, phenomenal movie. But I have to be in that mood. Star Wars is one of those ones where, like, not all of them are great writing, but you forget everything completely, man. You're in it. You're watching it. You're freaking in the story. And I was just loving the feeling. It was nice. It was nice. Showing my kids today. I couldn't think of anything to do with my daughter. Like, she wanted to do Power Ranger stuff and play with Rapunzel. And like, my mind was just like, I don't know. So then we just came in here in the garage and just turned on a lightsaber, made it pink, and we just went out for a few hours. She got tired, took a nap, and it was awesome. I was like, this is freaking. I didn't even, like, I have a whole Jedi uniform and I didn't even wear it on Halloween, which sometimes bums me out, because I used to, everything was a Star Wars when like growing up, all the way. I would say the last time I dressed up as a Jedi or a Sith or anything related to Star Wars on Halloween was probably oh no, I was gonna say before I got married. No, it was after, like, I think before my son was born. All other Halloweens after that, I just was just did whatever either my son wanted. He's the oldest, and like this year we were a family of pirates, other than my daughter who was a princess. You know. But yeah, and sorry if the freaking stream gets a little blurry. I'm on a laptop, MacBook actually, and the last time I checked, yeah, like I have the frames up and everything. I don't even know how to read it all that much, but like I could barely understand this. This is all gibberish to me, man. But yeah, yeah. So I was watching Star Wars, and I was watching The Phantom Menace, and even though Darth Maul doesn't speak a whole lot, I love the elegance. If you look at my shorts, I have that exclusive Comic-Con polybag Darth Maul that he has his shirt off. Like, one of my goals was always to, like, get insanely ripped and go as, like, the training Darth Maul with all the paint, and he just has the freaking loincloth with the double lightsaber, and I think that would be sick. There was a guy who, I don't know what it is. He's almost there. Maybe it's the horns are too big. He was at the Star Wars Theory booth in one of the cons that was happening, all decked out as Darth Maul. Guy looks awesome. He's ripped, fit. There's something about it that's like something slightly missing. He's almost there, almost like perfect looking. Maybe it is that he's like too ripped or something. Just solid jawline. Pause. I like when Darth Sidious. I feel like there's a lot more scenes. I don't know if George Lucas filmed more scenes that he just edited out because it was gonna be like 5 hours long, and just never released. But I feel like at least there was something more written between the scenes that we see Darth Maul coming into screen, where he was having deeper conversations or meditating. He like in the comics and the books, he meditated similar to a Jedi, which is actually very, very strange, because he focused his body into the Force. So he was like Darth Sidious. It sometimes it made it seem like Darth Sidious feared Maul. Maybe it's his ferociousness or how he taught him, but he was like, I think he was worried about teaching him to his level. Well, Darth Sidious has always done that. So when Plagueis found out he was training him, he wanted him to train him as a Sith assassin, not a Sith Lord, right? And I think Darth Sidious' test was like, if you can beat Qui-Gon or an Obi-Wan, you are my right hand. Like, we are in this, but obviously Darth Sidious will still keep some of his training back. But the reason after canon-wise in the Clone Wars, why he feared him as a rival, like he was able to scare Darth Maul or scare Darth Sidious in such a way where he had to go handle Darth Maul himself, because nobody was getting the job done. He didn't even trust Count Dooku to go and handle it. It was a problem. Darth Maul was a problem for Sidious. And I don't like the way they portrayed like him being all fearful of his master in that way. Like I feel like when he would ask for mercy, he would be pissed. He'd be angry because like Darth Sidious killed that part, the sadness part of him. Like Darth Maul doesn't have empathy, so I think they put like a little bit too much emotion in the Clone Wars. But regardless, it was, it was good. I say overall it was good. I still will never agree that Ahsoka could defeat Darth Maul. I don't care. I've listened to the Sam Witwer explanation, the Dave Filoni, like this. Darth Maul always gets too big for his head. He starts like he plays around with his food. That's how he lost to Obi-Wan. To me, the way George Lucas made Obi-Wan act at the end of Phantom Menace was almost like Luke getting closer, tapping into the dark side, because he became angry, and you saw Obi-Wan change the way he dueled against Darth Maul. As soon as Qui-Gon was dead, he just went full force, man. And when he was down the shaft, he was just like, it's like he was getting angry, and then he like, when he killed him, he still had anger. He didn't, like, he had this like disgust in his face. He didn't look at Darth Maul like, I beat you. He looked at him like, freaking died. Like, I hate you. So I would say it would have been interesting to have a comic where maybe Yoda was questioning the darkness within Obi-Wan. I think that would have been really interesting, because to me, I always kind of saw it that way. And I know that's like my own headcanon, but I like to theorize, especially when an actor portrays scenes very specifically where like you can't hide that emotion. And that was straight up Obi-Wan's emotion. Ian McGregor portrayed that like, oh, we are not doing all this BS. We're like, it was very strictly, he was angry. And Darth Maul did kill a Jedi Master, and Obi-Wan was calm. He did everything right. Everything. But the only thing that I would say would be his mistake wasn't even a mistake. Nobody fought, I think it's Form 7. Nobody has fought somebody with a dual-bladed lightsaber in some time. I don't know if it was a storyboard or where I read up on it, but I think after Darth Maul, there was like the simulators of Darth Maul and how he fought, that then the Temple Guard started dual-wielding lightsabers. Jedi Master Krell, he got double lightsabers, and then some Jedi started training with staff-like double-bladed lightsabers. But yeah, like it was a surprise. Like he was always training. No, like me and you, we could take somebody, even if they use this form where they hold two lightsabers in hand. They're not going to be able to use strength. They're going to use a lot of agility, so stuff like that. But they did not expect the strength of a Sith Lord, and he kept it under wraps. And I don't doubt that if the fight went longer on the desert, he would have killed Qui-Gon. Because it's like he kept the other blade turned off. So when they were fighting, if Qui-Gon would jump behind him, he just turn it on, because that's how he learned. When he went and fought that blind Jedi, and he had a staff, didn't even have a lightsaber, he realized that he needed to construct his own, and then he started learning Form 7. Darth Maul created his own form within the dual-bladed lightsaber. And it's also concerned Sidious with how creative he was. You know? So, Darth Maul, I think, could have been a lot more than how they wrote him for the Clone Wars. I think, obviously, we're getting the Darth Maul show. I'm not here to talk about that. I don't think it's going to be all that great. I keep saying, like, I loved his voice when he's like everything's in place and Darth Sidious just looks at him and he's like, "At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge." It's awesome. And like I don't know, he maybe had 6 lines in total in the movie. Still great, man. I love watching the Phantom Menace, dude. And it's probably the second worst written out of all of them. I think like Revenge of the Sith has the nice conclusion, but there's a lot of bad writing in that too, and they're pretty close. When you really go through it, they're pretty close in writing of not good objectively. Attack of the Clones is it's not a rough watch, but you shouldn't think about it. Your brain should be turned off for that one for sure. And you'll have fun. And even if it is turned on, you'll still enjoy it. But like you'll look past, like I guess a lot of the boring parts or the cringy parts, because it's explicit dialogue. But I still love watching it. Phantom Menace is probably the one I watch the most. Not because it's the first one and I like watching things in order, but it's just because it's not just because I love Darth Maul. It's nice seeing the Republic intact. Like everybody is. There's more than just a wholesome element. There's an element of order, of respect, of understanding, and it makes it feel real because it's how most of us go through our day. Like there's an order of things. You go to your job, you go meet up with your family, you fly to a different country, you talk to people of different countries. So there's things going on that you might not be aware of that is affecting your friend in Europe or whatever. So I feel like the Phantom Menace very much so encapsulates how the world is, and where we try to support one another, but we don't really understand the gravity of the situation when somebody's actually living it. And I felt that a lot not when I came here, but when I went back to Brazil and then came back here, I felt that a lot. Like people, I forgot what it was like in Brazil because I was a child. I was having fun. And then living here, I forgot what's like everywhere else in the world. And then in Brazil, like, not only were we going through things, but we also, everybody understood what other countries were going through. And then when I got to the U.S. was very much like the Senate. They're like, let's go send somebody out if like this is actually happening, blah, 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 blah. Because the U.S. is great. Like, it truly is. But a massive problem is that there's blinders. Like, not that the U.S. has to intervene in any part of the world, but the people need to understand that U.S. is not the only country that exists. The Coruscant is not the only planet that exists. You know what I mean? Where people are going through stuff that they need fixed today, tomorrow, like as soon as possible. There's things that, if they can't get done today, they might not make it till tomorrow. And it's not just that, it's the simplicity of good and evil. Like Darth Maul, you can see his face, that's a bad guy. Qui-Gon, good guy. And then you got somewhat of the confused teenager, Obi-Wan, that is all about like the order of things. Like everything has to be the Boy Scout, Like he can't see when something over here can make an effect over here. He just has one path. and then you see the the innocence of a child, the brightness of the future, the darkness of the past, and what can become, and the purity that lives in their head. It's overall a great fantasy film, a great sci-fi film, great Star Wars, and like there's no reason to point out the bad at this point. Everybody knows the Phantom Menace. Everybody knows that whatever issues you got, you already know it. So there's no need. But man, it was great watching it, even if I was on my own. Like I remember watching, like having Star Wars marathons with my friends back in the day. It was awesome. Yeah. I wanted to actually go through a comment on one of my videos because one thing I love to talk about is Superman. So it was a short. Let me go through the shorts. Freaking A, man. So I put up a short that was just, I really like this brand called Super X Apparel. They have some of the best material. This company really wants to do quality work with their product. They do a really great job, and they have rash guards. It's athletic wear, and they have partnered up with Marvel. They have license of Marvel and license of Star Wars. Actually, the Mandalorian one, other than the hoodie and the jogger, the hoodie and the jogger were tight. Everything else was kind of trash because Mandalorian freaking sucks. The Darth Vader one, it's nice, but there's a lot going on, and it's just like wanted it, but at the same time I didn't. But they have the Gun Superman, which obviously, if you've watched it and you have a brain, you know it's terrible. It's a terrible movie. And I still gotta do a review, and I want to go through it as its own movie, but also why it's not a great Superman movie. This other guy commented, but this one guy, Poppy Xander, very respectful dude, very solid guy. He wanted to know why I don't like it, like what specifically, and I was like, I'm gonna have to do a whole video on that, but it's quite a bit, and I did put a long comment, and he pointed out that there was the serif symbol different than Reeves, because I like Reeves, and again, my favorite symbol is this one right there. That's the true Superman symbol. I didn't like the V on Christopher Reeves as well, but it's better than the fake Kingdom Come symbol that Gunn is wearing. Anyways, I was wearing a rash guard not from Super X Apparel. I made a suggestion to Super X Apparel. Please make another Superman uniform, athletic wear that has the real symbol. And so I'll read you both of my replies and what he wrote, because I thought it was important to see what he wrote. So I just said, yeah, I know, I just prefer Christopher Reeves over Gunn Superman. Also, there's a lot of stuff I didn't like that I am planning on making a video to cover everything, but on a general sense, all the dialogue felt either too explicit or like a first draft. The movie made Superman feel like a side character, and it makes you focus more on Mr. Terrific and his band of merry men. I love the color on the suits, but in the end they mashed up a bunch of different suits together from different comics and made it look like a motorcycle suit. I'm not a fan of the symbol. I think that symbol works for Kingdom Come in black and red, but not for yellow and red. The biggest problem was the actor didn't make me feel he was Superman. There are millions of things more, but save that for a video. I'll save that for a video. How about you? And he said, honestly, I loved it. The dialogue and the open world / other characters being already established in this world. I don't want them to do it like Marvel did. I especially love the symbol. I was always a fan of the Kingdom Come symbol and suit. I know the yellow throws it off, and this is his comment, by the way. That's what it makes it great. I was skeptical of the suit as well, but it paid homage to Reeves with the color and trunks. I don't think it was paying homage to Reeves. I just think that, like, that's just the color, and it's a superhero movie. Put the trunks on, man. Um, but to the comics as well, with the new 52 style collar and cider suit with the lines on the sides, kind of. Nah, it was just a crappy suit. No one can compare to Reeves when it comes to the actor, as he is like RDJ playing Iron Man or Jackman playing Wolverine. Look, just so I can respond to that, if other actors can play Iron Man and Wolverine, no actor is above the role. Okay, now they're very well established, but especially Iron Man, you could put in another actor. Like, if you, people who usually say that, they haven't really read Iron Man comics. Like, not every comic people know he's Iron Man. You know what I mean? Like, he keeps it a secret, and he plays the Playboy pretty well. Because it's also him. He's not just playing the Playboy. He's like a narcissistic and happy Bruce Wayne. And there's actors that could play that pretty well. Wolverine, it'll be really hard. Wolverine, I think a lot of people don't understand the X-Men. He's a side character. He's not a main character. His comics were good, but he's not a main character in the X-Men. I like him, though. I don't need him to be short. I would love to see Hugh Jackman again and again as Wolverine, but there's other, like, people want Cavill because they saw him, and even before that, like, oh, that makes sense. He looks good. You could get somebody else too, man. It just has to be a good actor and somebody who cares. Simple. Okay? No one will ever be that iconic, but we got to remember this is the new Superman for the next generation. Disagree. I think Cavill can be even more iconic. He's got the muscles. He's got the voice. He just needs the perfect suit, which is not going to be the Snyder Cut suit. And we will get into freaking Zack Snyder in a bit. And he needs a good director and good writing. Like, even if you put Henry Cavill and James Gunn, like, take the James Gunn movie and put Henry Cavill as the actor, it's still just as garbage. It's still garbage. I think that's something that people forget to think about. Like, it's still crap. He's the new Superman. No one will ever be that iconic. This is the new Superman for the next generation. Our generation will always be Reeves. Some may be Ruths, and other Cavill. This will be my children's Superman most likely until they watch or see the other versions. I'm not about the bandwagon there, but I understand what he's saying. After Snyder's version, I think we need a Superman that was more hopeful than a brooding and furious hero who was more like Batman. 100% agree. This version made me think of Superman for all seasons. That hopeful Superman and bright-eyed. The only thing I didn't like was how they changed his parents, who sent him on a mission to conquer Earth, but I feel that was a fake message altered by Brainiac, who we'll see in the sequel. It wasn't a fake message. James Gunn confirmed that because he can't keep his damn mouth shut. Yeah, it's real. He's changing it. I love all the versions of Superman, and I'll always be a Superman fan and what he stands for, even though he's a fictional character. That's why I like this movie, because I was able to relate to what he felt and said about being human, and that is his greatest strength. Don't really like how he said it, But yeah, he's Clark Kent. If Bruce Wayne couldn't be Batman because Bruce Wayne is Batman, Bruce Wayne is the Mask, he'd kill himself. Same with Clark Kent. Clark Kent can't be Superman. Superman is Clark Kent. Superman is the Mask. I'm glad you like it, man. This is my response to Poppy Xander. Glad you like it, man. I obviously disagree on some of those things, but even though I think Cavill is a better Superman, I think the way he was written sucks, and the Snyderverse also sucks real hard. In my opinion, the best hopeful and accurate Superman was in Smallville, and I stand by that. Obviously, we didn't get to see the suit, but he was the more like hopeful. I think that was the best Jonathan Kent, best Lois Lane. And I think he had the best look for Superman. He was tall, good muscle on him. I think he could have been more buffed out. But it was a different story than what we got before. And they honored Superman. Like there was a few things that I thought, okay, they kind of missed the mark. What Superman would and wouldn't do. But overall, I thought it was a great show. And he could have been probably the most iconic Superman if we got him in a super suit and had maybe like 10 more seasons of actual Superman. Like, I'd be okay if they started with the whole original cast of Smallville and just doing a Superman series. You can call it Metropolis. Okay? Hopefully, an accurate Superman was in Smallville, and I'm definitely not going to even show Gunn Superman to my kids. They're going to watch Reeves for sure and the TV shows. I felt like that Gunn tried ripping off Goku's story from Dragon Ball Z, and I just wanted more Superman in a Superman movie. It had all the potential in the world, and it ended up being a dumpster fire. Respectfully, of course. Look. The other guy, he doesn't really let me know why he just pretty much told me that, like, oh, I know what kind of person you are, like, if you can't see it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, just tell me one. I just want to know one thing Gunn Superman did better than any other iteration of Superman. Any other. Because there's nothing. We'll get into the Snyderverse in a bit. This is not a review. This is more of a take on David Cornsweat's Superman. He just ain't Superman. Like, he looks like a mix, like I said this before, of Henry Cavill and Sid the Sloth. He doesn't have the voice. I think he's a fan, and I think he would do really well as a cosplayer of Superman. Maybe if he had a different director, like, I'll give him another shot. Take James Gunn out, put on a classic suit. Go. I don't even care if he's in the freaking Snyder suit, which the best Snyder suit was in Black Adam because it was brighter. And Henry Cavill looked the best as Superman in Black Adam. Because his hair had a little less there. Like, it wasn't as, like, slick back and whatnot. Gosh, that Man of Steel movie sucks. Henry Cavill is a true fan, and he got shafted. Absolutely ruined. It sucks what happened to him. People know about it. We're not going to get into it. Maybe some other time. But David Cornsweat, Gunn Superman, he doesn't know how to take just an individual character and understand that character's world and then just go off that. He wants teams. He wants, like, funny comedy. Like, he talked about it on a podcast. Oh, it was Two Bears, One Cave. Like, David understood the comedy and everything. It's like, comedy shouldn't even be a focus in a Superman movie. If you think of something funny during a scene as you write, great. It's not supposed to have comedic timing. Like, you shouldn't be thinking that way. It needs to be natural. Like, if it, like Brandon Routh, is that his name? Superman Returns, when he's talking to Lois Lane's fiance, uh, and he's like, "Oh, he's a horror movie buff," and he goes like, "Oh, oof." Like, dude, that's funny. That's Clark. That's like the nerdy, like, that's a great mix of Christopher Reeve Clark Kent and Brandon Routh's Clark Kent. Solid mix there. Huge respect of like the, like, as much as I love Christopher Reeve as Superman, I don't like bumbling idiot Clark. I like more like the animated series where, yeah, he's not perfect, but he's just a regular guy who knows how to do his job. He does his job well, and he's very much a Boy Scout as Clark Kent. Like, that's where you see Superman. And in Christopher Reeves, like, this is, I'm gonna catch flack for this, but we don't get to see Clark Kent's real side very much. We get to see his acting side, but around Lois, and then we get to see Superman. Also a facade. It's fine. That's the movie they went with, and it did work. Like, in Smallville, I really like how they made Clark towards the end. End of era, dude. What up? I don't know what you mean about that. Buddy cop duo. Are you talking about Anderson? Yeah, he's I'll tell you about it. Like, obviously we're not at the store. The store got shut down a few months ago. But go ahead, ask your questions, dude. And I want to know what you thought about Superman. I haven't even been on YouTube for months and months and months, so I didn't see if you had a review or anything. My bad, Derp. But, you know, it shows Clark in Metropolis, and then he realizes that he needs to be invisible. So in Smallville, he starts being like the bumbling idiot, bumping into people. But yeah, and yes, I do want a Sprite Cranberry. A friend of mine actually really loves that stuff. So he starts being invisible. He doesn't stand out, but he's not a full-blown moron, and he's not like quirky or whatever, but he's chill and he's under the radar. He's not trying to, he mixes in well as like, I'm not trying to have a career, but I'm going to have a career. I'm not trying to be Superman all the time, but I'm going to be Superman all the time. Because he's Clark. And that's what, like, Clark is always Superman and Superman is always Clark. In a way. Because even as Clark, he's going to find a way to help people. He's going to be thinking about how to treat people. Like, if he's Superman, he's not thinking about how to write the next report. You know what I mean? Is that your only question, Derpy? If I want a Sprite? Alright, dude. But I see the hype and the aura farming that Zack Snyder is doing. I don't appreciate it because Zack Snyder sucks. Like, I would say maybe if him and James Gunn and then somebody else, maybe Matt Reeves, still hate the Batman, but he's a great writer, sort of. If they got together and they kind of, like, it's what I talked about with George Lucas. He had a bunch of yes men. Some people need to be tamed. James Gunn, Marvel tamed him, and he was able to do Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I said, hopefully James Gunn could do something good with Green Lantern, the Lantern Corps, because he's good with team-ups and wacky characters. I don't like the rumor, or I don't know if it's a confirmed rumor, about John Stewart replacing Hal Jordan. I just think Hal Jordan moves to a different sector, and John Stewart handles Earth. Snyder should do The Authority. Oh, dude, anything's better than Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm glad you liked the Superman movie. In terms of writing and everything, I think it's peak trash. It is not a Superman movie. It is a Mr. Terrific movie with his band of merry men, and Superman happens to be in that stupid movie. I don't think Snyder should touch anything. I don't think he should do the Authority. Like people say, like, oh, I think Snyder should do Batman. Nah, man. Like the Dark Knight, it's a great one-off comic. Which when you hear him talk, like he doesn't know anything about the Dark Knight. He likes the color palette because of like the dark brooding bullcrap. Yeah, and I love Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. I think his suit should use the trunks and minimize the bat logo and put his ears slightly pointier. Yeah, his suit is cool, but that universe is dead. Like, I'd still want Henry Cavill back as Superman, just not in the Snyderverse. Yeah, I really don't want to see Snyderverse stuff. Like, it's gonna be too dark. Everybody's killing. Like, the Ben Affleck Batman kills people. He even holds guns and shoots people. Like, it's the extended Dawn of Justice is canon, by the way. It's such crap. Well, so Derp says, well, I went in thinking it like Superman the animated series. So in my opinion, that comment about it not being Superman film isn't valid. Superman the animated series wasn't team ups. It wasn't a bunch of intergalactic characters coming in to Metropolis. Like, the animated series was very much simple. I've always thought the best beginning to a Superman series or movie is to introduce Metallo with Lex Luthor, very much like the Superman animated series. Like, Lex wins in the first movie, and the big bad was Lex, but his minion Metallo, where you get to see the evil of Lex. You get to see Superman doing simple things, saving people from burning buildings, stopping almost like a mini Spider-Man in the beginning, stopping petty thieves, fixing disasters, stuff like that. That's how you introduce Superman. And then Metallo is in. And then, like, I'll give Snyder one thing. The obsession of Lex trying to figure out Kryptonian DNA, that he understood that Lex would act that way. Not the nerdy, like, that's from one of the very first iteration of comics where Lex was like a teenager. He had long red hair. Superman comes in, F's up his lab. There's an explosion. He burns all his hair off, and Lex, like you destroyed my life's work. I'm going to freaking come at you with everything I got, and I won't rest till you're dead type deal. It's like one of the very first Superman comics. The David Cornsweet Superman, not only was everything so explicit, the dialogue was so freaking explicit, and I don't mean in terms of cursing, it's just like they didn't let the actors portray their feelings. They had to tell the audience how they felt. And then him saying things like, that's what you don't get about me, Lex. I'm always human, but you can't see past that. It's like, dude, read the room. I'm talking to Lex Luthor. You know who he is. If you're talking to him, something else is happening. And he doesn't give a damn. He's either stalling or he's just laughing in your face in his head because you're an idiot. Like, it was a terrible scene. Awful. Like this, he's having these little freaking therapy sessions where he's flipping out. He doesn't even, like, everybody's already supposed to be established, and he's not a teenager no more, and he's acting just like a child, and he's getting his butt whooped all the time. And like the dude, man, like when I get heated, I need to like put all my thoughts on paper and then do freaking film a video of the Superman review, because it's a terrible movie. Like, Zack Snyder committed one of the worst sins in the Man of Steel. Superman would never let his dad die like that. Never let anybody die like that. He will risk his identity to save anybody. Like, I actually just watched the animated series the other day. There was a guy on death row that Clark was interviewing, and there was a corrupt cop that was trying to close the case and then ended up blowing up Clark Kent's car, right? And Superman couldn't fly out because there was somebody fishing who saw everything. So he's like, man, okay, Clark is dead. I can't, like, Clark is no longer a thing. I'm going to be Superman full time. And you could see the sadness, but he was ready to go. Boom. I'm Superman now. I got to do what I got to do. You know? So, in Man of Steel, he just lets his dad die in a tornado. That's stupid. That's dumb. He'll do whatever it takes to save somebody. And then James Gunn commits an even worse crime. And then he confirmed it. That it's not fake. It's not Brainiac's twist. His Kryptonian parents sent him. It's a crappier version of Goku. Sent him there to conquer that planet. In Dragon Ball Z, Raditz claims that he was sent. They sent out babies to, when the full moon comes, come the great ape and ravage the planet until they get there to clean up house, right? Until the Frieza Force goes there and cleans up house. And then they kind of retcon that later on, but it still had the same principles because that's what they were doing in Planet Vegeta. So you're telling me it's possible in Gunn's universe all the Kryptonians might be still alive and it was just a fictional story. But we saw Krypton is gone. So there are also possibilities of other Kryptonians being alive because other parents would sent out, because he's not doing the Zack Snyder like everybody's born for one function type deal. So there could be like hundreds of Supermans out in the universe with parents just as awful as Clark's. Oh, so he's like the one alien that's a good guy. No, he was just raised by good people. And I'll give them that. Like the Jonathan Kent scenes, like they were all right. Not bad. But dude, I couldn't freaking. The jokes were terrible. They weren't hitting. They were distracting. And they didn't the movie didn't allow anybody to breathe. Like feel the emotion. And look, I personally don't cuss. It's just not in me. The Supergirl calling Clark a bitch makes zero sense. You're a Kryptonian, and she's supposed to have grown up at least a little bit in Krypton up to teenager, and they're more sophisticated society. Okay? And so even if she was hanging around with people on Earth that talk like that, she has a better heart than Earthlings. As in, as soon as she finds out that that is not a word that could be used around children, that's not a word that should be thrown around in a nice environment, she wants to make the world a better place with higher standards. She's not going to throw around those words, especially to Clark. It makes no freaking sense. It's like the lightsabers are given out. But yeah. Sorry, Derp. Objectively terrible movie. But I'm glad you liked it. I'll never hate on somebody for liking a piece of media. I will question your taste. But if you tell me you like something, that's the opinion. Like, I don't like it for objective reasons. I think the acting wasn't there, and like they had great actors. You know, like put Superman aside, they had great actors, and it just shows you that a great director can take mediocre actors and make them great. And there are some actors that are so good, no matter what they do, every line of dialogue is perfect. Like, I recently watched a Nicolas Cage movie. I don't even know what it was, but the acting was pretty bad on Nicolas Cage's part. And even in his crappy like B movies, C movies, that he does a good job. And it was just like, okay, it was weird. There was also, but like you get Christian Bale and whatever he's in, he's solid. Even that garbage Thor movie. If you guys forgot that was a thing, huh? Put that Death Star a little bit over there. Now, again, all the power to anybody who likes it, like that guy who likes it. I don't think, like, you choose what the next Superman of the next generation is gonna be. Okay, one thing I understand, I'm not gonna take my kids to watch that Superman movie in the theaters. I'm never gonna let them watch that Superman movie. Because I also don't think it teaches truth, justice, in the American way. Like, it didn't make me feel like Clark had a sense of, being a fish out of water and just want to be accepted. Like, he said the words, but what he portrayed was that he was above others, and that really stuck. That really sucked. In the beginning, I didn't think that, but when I did a rewatch, I was like, no, his attitude, like somebody that spazzes out like that, they're not in control. They think that people should look at them a certain way. Like, all right, when you work out in the morning, okay, like a hard workout, you do jiu-jitsu, you do lift weights like crazy where you just exhaust yourself, nothing bothers you because you already did something so difficult that in the beginning of the day, if your wife or something's like, hey, let's go on a hike or something, you're like, all right, okay, whatever. You're chill. Even if things aren't going well, you're calm, you could think things through, whatever. So this guy, he has a career, he's already established, people know who Superman is, and he is having tantrums on a fake interview. Like, doesn't even question, like, you really think they're gonna ask that? And it's like, these are designed to provoke, and he's a journalist and he still doesn't know this. He's the one that's also supposed to provoke people. And he was probably taught that by his trainer at the Daily Bugle. Or the Daily Bugle. The Daily Planet. And Lois Lane is the one that takes it another step because she's Lois Lane. Like, she's going to be provocative, ask hard-hitting questions to the point where somebody's going to punch her in the face. Like, if Lois Lane... One of the great things about Lois Lane is she words things in such a way where she's able to piss you off, but you don't think that she's a total biatch. Like, that's the subtlety of Lois Lane. Because there's like those women that like just act crazy, act a fool, that everybody's like, man, if she were a dude, like, she'd get pummeled because of the way she's talking to a dude. And if she talks to the wrong dude, she is going to get pummeled. Like, there's some freaking nasty, evil people out there. So, by the way, if people didn't know, if you watched Tulsa King, Sylvester Stallone's girlfriend, the actress, she's the voice of Lois Lane in the animated series. Um, but yeah, like James Gunn's Superman, like it's everything that I thought it was gonna be, and more, which is garbage. Like I was calling out before, like the suit looked terrible on film. It was baggy. I thought like, okay, it's. I gave it the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, I still think the collar's stupid. I think how far the sleeves end. Like, dude, I like detail, so I pay attention to everything. Like the sleeves ended past this little bone here. I don't think it should ever. Henry Cavill's suit was the only one that got away with it. And in the first time, I was in high school when the bank vault picture got released, and my friend showed it to me, the Henry Cavill Superman. And I remember I'm like, I don't like the suit. I think it's weird. I don't know what's going on. And he's like, dude, I love it. I'm like, where's the freaking trunks? It's also the same thing my dad. When I went to the movies with my dad, he asked for Man of Steel. He asked, where's the swirly hair and the trunks? Like, what the freak, man? And he doesn't read comics, but he knows Christopher Reeve. So the man, I kicked the camera. The issue that David Cornstalk was having was also like he didn't look comfortable as Superman at all, and it's definitely the suit. Like you gotta do the skin tight suit, man. This is a Superman movie. You're telling me you want to make it realistic? You're telling me if somebody gives him a hug, they're not gonna feel all that texture under his shirt? This is a Superman film, dude. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon, man. It's a comic. It's a superhero. Make it superhero-y. Come on, like it's simple. That's why we want the trunks back, man. Like Batman, he's got ears, dude. This is a dude fighting crime in a bat outfit with no powers. If he ever gets caught, he's going in the nut house. If I put on a bat suit tomorrow and had the ears that usually have no function other than the Batman Begins, Christopher Nolan's, and you're like, he fights crime, he's a vigilante, you're not going to think I'm some sort of lunatic? Like some a-hole in a costume. Like, take it seriously, man. Don't do what Marvel did, poking fun at the costumes and everything. Like, no, take it seriously. Like, this is just, that's how superheroes look like, and that's it. Nobody's commenting like, oh man, it's Superman. Nobody's making fun of the trunks. Nobody's doing nothing. Come on. So yeah, he's just not like, and again, like aside from the suit, if you change up the suit, keep the colors the same. I've always loved the yellow S on the cape. I've always loved that. But you change the suit. Okay, let's say you just put him in the Christopher Reeve suit, make it a little more slightly dark bluish, make it tighter, make it almost kind of like that leather look that Henry Cavill had. Make the S like that S right there, or even keep the S the same. And then the trunks, make them like the Speedo trunks, not the swimmer boxer trunks. Make it the Speedo trunks. Come on, let's go. If you're gonna do trunks, go full out. All right. And just make David Cornstalk work out like a mother effer, dude. Because he looked small in his own suit. He looked like he was about to don a motorcycle helmet and get on the bat cycle. If a company makes a motorcycle suit and it's the Batman suit, like the legs for a motorcycle and a motorcycle jacket, I guarantee you it's the same material. It's going to look the exact same. Like, dude, the suit did not look good on screen. I thought it was gonna be like, all right, at least it's probably gonna look good when the film comes out. The trailers aren't doing it justice. Like, might be bad editing. They're trying to get stuff quick. I gave every benefit of the doubt. Other than that cross-eyed picture where they eventually fixed. I'm like, okay, he's getting a little bit of the Sonic treatment. So that's a good thing, right? And then they took away the American way. Just truth, justice, and whatever. So, yeah. But even with that being said, I don't want Snyder to come back. He had his shot. Sucks what Warner Brothers did, taking it away from him and how they did it. That was terrible. And then he went in full force, full Zack Snyder, effed it up. And yeah, he can't be trusted, man. He can't. Like, dude. Like, the Russo brothers didn't write everything in Marvel. Come on. Like, I'll tell you what. Justice League movie, both of them suck. But the Joss Whedon movie, at least they had different songs instead of the whole Viking, yeah, for like the whole damn movie for 4 hours straight. At least they didn't have that bullcrap. But it was brightly colored. And, like, the actors were, you could tell who was who. Like, Wonder Woman wasn't murdering people on the street. Like, like, come on. It was just, you had Joss Whedon's Justice League, garbage. I would say slightly more fun than Zack Snyder's. And then Zack Snyder comes in, give us just extra garbage, and then makes it feel like we had even less Superman. Great, we got the black suit for the first time. Woo. But towards the, like, dude, we only got him towards the end. I thought we were going to get like half a movie of freaking Henry Cavill Superman. You're telling me the first Justice League team up, Superman is like not even half of the movie? Come on, man. What a miss. What a freaking miss. And we still have freaking Ezra Miller as the Flash, dude. When the Snyder Cut was coming out, Ezra Miller did a bunch of bullcrap already before that, man. And they didn't fire him. And Zach was like, "Oh yeah, we filmed like the Jon Stewart scenes." But like we weren't allowed to put it in the movie. Man, shut up. If you know that you could have done it, you know that like that was your last shot. It wasn't gonna restore the Snyderverse. It restored a movie. It let you finish off, and that's how they wanted you to do it. You could have put Jon Stewart in there, man. But even if you can't, like, I like that we saw the video footage, I guess, but like the DC, there's no excitement. There's no excitement in the DC universe. Like, why would I go watch the Supergirl movie after this movie? This movie did not help promote the rest of the DC that they're gonna have. We're getting Clayface. We're getting whatever team-up movie. Maybe Booster Gold and then the Supergirl movie. Why the freak would I watch any of that crap? That was... Ugh. Like, I'm going to hop out right now. It's super late. It's already 1 a.m. for me. Ugh. But I just want to do a late night show. And one time I could actually do this is at night. I gotta freaking work, get a job and stuff. But we be chilling. I want to talk more Superman. I want to get these videos out, but I have a newfound respect with anybody who does YouTube. This stuff is actually complicated. Like, they always say just put up a camera and do it. And yes, that part is easy. But after a bit, thinking up of content when you're not and you actually want to talk about things you enjoy. Like, I don't want to talk about news all the time. Like, I could give a damn if that one chick from Stranger Things is talking about the dude, whatever coworker that was a bully to her. Man, like, shut the hell up. Either have the evidence already or stop making rumors. I don't give a damn. You know, like, Hollywood is crap. Deal with it. It's like the same thing with like the Weinstein stuff. Yeah, he shouldn't have done what he did, but he didn't rape nobody. If you had integrity, you could be like, oh, instead of, going deep on chode, I'm gonna go find a career in accounting or something. You didn't have to do that stuff, but you want to be an actress so bad. Yeah, you sucking a golf ball through a garden hose, and that's on you. And then you got a bunch of roles in that, and then you complain later. Come on. You didn't want to be a plumber? Don't want to be an electrician? Courses are longer, but you don't got to do no sucking. That's a weird tangent, but y'all get what I mean. It's freaking late. Alright? Don't judge me. Yeah, but like making content, finding stuff to talk about. Especially like for me, it's easier when Anderson was here. We could riff off each other. We could go on for hours. Yeah, it's easier when I have somebody. But like going about this and like doing all this myself, dude, I am like, I took the day off today to try to figure this out practically. Apply for some jobs and whatnot. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure out. I still couldn't figure out. I don't even know if my like the freaking audio is lining up to my lips. Because when I played back like the last 3 videos, it wasn't syncing. Like it was just enough, but you're like watching the video like, is it fixed? Yeah. At least like the video quality has improved. Now, from my research, is that if you have a PC, it's better. Like almost you have to do practically nothing. If you got your iPhone for videos, you are practically fine. And the more complicated your equipment, or the more fancy your equipment, it gets extremely complicated. There's all this hoggabaloo that I don't know what the freak it means. Like, I couldn't, and like, I didn't even know that the same, like OBS is going to be different on different types of computers. That really annoys me, man. Like, just have it work the same. But whatever. Okay, remember, James Gunn, total loser. Zack Snyder, close to total loser. At least he has some talent. He did 300. Okay, here's my caveat. If Snyder does come back, have him be tamed. Put a leash on that fool. Get somebody who is a good writer and they could bounce off each other. I would be cool with Matt Reeves. Give up on Robert Pattinson. Dude, Robert Pattinson is whatever to me, dude. Give it up. Maybe the Robert Pattinson is the young Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne. Keep it as that for like, that's the first year Batman. Just rewrite. It's not his second year. That's first year as Batman. And then the next movie you de-age Ben Affleck and then do, or well, I guess still do Robert Pattinson because that's done filming and we still haven't gotten that yet. But yeah, like, I think a real rumor that nobody talks about, or I guess it would be a theory, is the 3 that are fighting to be ahead of DC would probably be Matt Reeves, and he's the only one that actually wrote and filmed 2 good things, even though I didn't like the Batman and the third act sucked. But the Penguin is solid. And then there's Zack Snyder, who has a solid fan base, and James Gunn just wet the bed. But there was always the Gunn fans. There's some fans that as long as it's Superman, they're gonna be happy. They're gonna be jerking it. Okay. They're gonna love it no matter what. You know, those are called fanboys. Okay. Fanboys used to be actually a good term. They were like the gatekeepers. Like, that's a fanboy, dude. Don't f with them because they're gonna, you know, break it down. And then fanboys became a term of these douchebags that they'll suck it as long as it has the pretty color on it. Okay? And that's most of James Gunn's fans, because that's who, like, his political alignment mixed with his ability to never stop talking, because all he has to do is shut his mouth and be in a general position on his podcast, but he's trying to grandstand of how great he is and how much he loves the blacks. Like, that's like he's the guy that's like man, I love black people. Like, I have black friends. I love Asian people. I have Asian friends. He's that guy. He's that guy at the party. He's like, I have money, and look how great I am because I have friends that are lesser than me. Because that's what he's saying. That's what's in his head. What the freak, man. This guy is... And he wasn't like that. I'm a married man. Marriage doesn't ruin you. But after he got married, I did a video, and if you saw the picture of him when he was filming Guardians of the Galaxy, happy, regular dude, and then being head of DC, dyed white hair, dyed white beard, and is putting his wife in a bunch of things where he watches other men F his wife. I'm like, dude, you're just a cuck. That's what you are, dude. Like, that's crazy. And then you film it. You have the camera, and you're like, all right, honey, go suck that dude's dick. This guy, he has lost his way. And he was in a good trajectory. The 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and then, like, dude, say what you will about how bad the writing is of the second Suicide Squad film. There was great scenes in there, and the fleshing out the characters was pretty freaking phenomenal, man. The acting, the direction of, like, how he made everybody care about each character of that team, awesome. Almost better, actually. I would say a little bit better than the first Guardians movie. Not I'm talking about fleshing out the characters, of how much you understood about them. And the comedic timing was perfect. Maybe not. I haven't watched the Guardians of the Galaxy in a while, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I try to avoid Marvel, other than Sam Raimi and the old X-Men stuff. Even actually watched the old Fantastic Four stuff too. And Phase 1. But everything Phase 1 and under I'll watch. Pretty much after that I'm like, oh, makes me sad that I know what it's going to end up being. But yeah. Thanks for joining the stream. Derpy, it was good seeing you again. I've been watching some of your streams. And I'd be in the chat when talking about the Steelers and stuff. And some, like, the last 2 streams you had, I don't know who the other guy was. Like, I came in at the last, like, 30 seconds of your stream, so my bad. I'll try to hit you up when I can. But yeah, F. Snyder Man and his fans. That's one of Derpy's comments in the chat. All right, guys. Hey, Derp. Screw Gunn and his fans.